previously, in the land of the wolf. November is here, with its challenges for wildlife. And for us, our daily life will not be easy because of the cold. But if wildlife cooperates, we will do everything to stay in the land of the wolf as long as possible. Moose rut is over. Since the arrival of flocks of common redpolls, the entire land of the wolf is feeling the first shivers heralding winter. A deceptive calmness reigns pending the wintry cold. The lack of light, the bad weather, and the accumulated fatigue of the last few months make us appreciate the warmth of the camp. New demands are added to our daily life, such as constantly filling the wood stove, draining the pipes under the camp to protect our equipment from freezing, fetching water from the lake with a pail. Judging by the length of the pile of provisions in front of the Chubby's lodge, our beaver neighbors are ready to hibernate. Tico, the American mink, still hunts nearby. Every now and then, one of the beavers comes to see what's going on around the bay, where a few moose are settling in for the winter. The brief appearances of the rodents are barely noticed by this American robin, whose abundance of rowan berries allows it to delay its migration south. As long as the birds, moose, and other inhabitants of the land of the wolf can find food, the snow and cold are not so terrible. The insulating properties of plumage are well known. However, few people know that the moose's thick winter coat has hollow hairs that allow it to retain body heat. When they run out of leaves to eat, moose happily settle for branches. Before their antlers fall off in winter, bull moose use them to socialize. In November, we can still observe friendly sparrings whose main motivation seems to be pleasure. Back at camp, I noted the details of each observation, such as the date, location, time, weather, species seen in their behaviors. However, unlike spring and summer, the snow brought stress, especially the fear that a significant accumulation would trap us in our camp, make the forest roads impassable, and deprive us of our only means of transportation. If unfortunately that happened, we would be evacuated by a friend who had a snowmobile. But that meant that unless there was a thaw, we would have to leave our vehicle at the camp for the entire winter. It would be terrible for us if that happened. It was the first time my parents and I had taken the risk of staying so late in the fall, as if, deep down, we each knew that we would never again have the opportunity to experience such an adventure. We were hoping for some snow, but not too much. At this beginning of winter, we regularly see the manatus in the valley. Anouk is gnawing on a bone. She warns Grisette not to come any closer. The prey killed in this area has been feeding the pack for several days. The ravens are there to pick up the leftovers. As usual, Robin watches over the young. Wolves love to play. They also love the snow, as Anouk so aptly demonstrates. How lucky we were to be there, among the wolves. After a snowfall, the mercury rose a little and melted part of the white blanket, and the cycle began again. A little snow, a thaw, and more snow showers. This alternation was a blessing for us. We were able to continue our quest for nice images near the river that runs through the Valley of the Moose, where we had often seen a barred owl. The barred owl is very interested in this ermine. But the ermine is cunning. It cannot stay still. Robin's sudden appearance distracts the bird. The wolves are not used to seeing us near the river. We disturbed Anouk, Gisèle, and Robin during their rest period. As a precaution, the elder calls them back into cover. I think Robin recognized us. The wolves are reassured. How can you not succumb to the charm of these little faces? In the land of the wolf, you can go to the same place for 2 days in a row and observe different species. A few moose, including this handsome king, have chosen the area near the Owl River as their wintering grounds. In addition to moose and the barred owl, we occasionally see this young red fox. The fox must remain vigilant. The true master of the place is this male Canada lynx. He jealously protects his territory filled with snowshoe hares against the intrusions of other predators. All the hares living on this side of the river belong to him. Also all the grouse. And the wolves? The lynx looks down on them even though he is wary of them. Anouk, Robin, and Gisèle have embarked on a daring project. To detect signs of vulnerability in this moose. The king's reaction is not what the wolves expected. It is better to give up the game. By mid-November, the snow cover had almost completely melted, and we lost track of the manatees for a few days. We thought our observation season would end there. But one afternoon, at the crossroads in the Valley of the Moose, we witnessed a most touching scene. Robin was alone at the rendezvous site when he saw Anouk. The wind was not favorable for Anouk. When she saw the wolf, she didn't know if it was a member of her family or a stranger who might attack her. When the little wolf recognized her brother, it was an explosion of joy. We have never seen Anouk so excited. The behavior of wolves is quite similar to that of dogs, especially in the attachment, affection, and loyalty seen between members of the same family. In the fall of 2011, we often filmed social behaviors that our four-legged friends, the dogs, inherited from their ancestors, the wolf. And above all, the interactions within the pack inspired us the following observation: the manatees were happy. Some will say that our interpretation is purely subjective. Yet what we have seen and documented is concrete. For the sake of honesty, we cannot betray the reality of these wolves by inventing an interpretation that would better please people who deny the sensitivity and sociability of wild dogs. On November 15th, it was raining. We could have rested at the camp, but something told us to go and keep watch at the crossroads, despite the gloomy weather. We did well to follow our intuition because all the manatees were there. Our unexpected arrival worried Hiawatha, always concerned about the safety of his family. A few moments later, Robin and some young joined their father. Suddenly, an intense excitement seized the wolves. They all ran in the same direction. Mommy White Paws had just shown up. In this sequence, we recognize her by her tail often raised and her white cheeks. Hiawatha, Robin, and 5 of the 7 spring pups surrounded her with affection and respect. One of the most beautiful family portraits that the mother wolf and her family have given us. As the young calmed down, we witnessed touching moments within the faithful and close-knit pair that their parents formed. We had never seen White Paws so happy and playful. Yes, these wolves were quite simply happy. This is the last time we observed White Paws that year. Even though the lack of light prevented Raynald from immortalizing the scene in close-up, I wanted to share it with you in its entirety. In the next episode, winter conditions will complicate filming and studying the wolves. Our perseverance will be rewarded with fabulous observations. Don't miss the rest of our story in the land of the wolf.
마힌근